All right, all right, all right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Limitless Life Code podcast. I am your host. My name is Jordyn, and I am so excited to have you here today. This podcast is going to be all about helping you break free from the chains that have been holding you back from living a life of true freedom, abundance, and purpose. And today, we're going to just dive into the very beginning of that journey, the very first step of what I call the Limitless Life Code. And before we get into the meat of the episode, let me just tell you a little bit about my story and why I'm so passionate about helping people like you and me reclaim their power. And, you know, I'm just a girl who's lived a life that just has brought me full circle to this place where I just want to come and tell everyone exactly what I've figured out about getting the frick out of your own way and living your best life, living a life of freedom and unconditional love and purpose and fulfillment, like actually finding the things that we are looking for all the time within your own self. So let's get into it. For most of my life, I lived trapped in a cycle of not enoughness. I pushed myself to the extremes. I actually romanticized the idea of being an extremist, whether it was work or relationships or numbing myself out with food or alcohol or anything else just to feel something. I was an extreme binger. Like I binged alcohol on the weekends or weekdays. I binged on food all the time. I had a brutal eating disorder and I numbed out with so many different things for so long. And it was honestly just to feel something other than what was going on inside of me. That feeling of lack and not enoughness. I stuffed it down with food and booze and boys and, work. I was just consistently drowning in whatever I could get my hands on. And I thought that if I achieved more or did more, that I would finally feel like I was enough. But it honestly never worked. And the truth is, I was stuck in a prison of my own making. A mind that told me that I was never enough, that I wasn't worthy of love, and I wasn't worthy of peace, and I certainly wasn't worthy of success. And if I was going to get success, I was going to have to sacrifice love in order to get it. I could not have both. I didn't even know who I was without that story. And I actually became addicted to achieving, addicted to promotions and climbing the corporate ladder and making more money and getting the things and buying the house. And I became addicted to goals and hustle and grind. And and in the shadows, I would stuff my face with food and sabotage, and I would stuff my body with alcohol and party my face off. It was actually a little bit out of control, but I hid it so well. People didn't know. They didn't know. My friends didn't really know how bad it was, only the ones closest to me, and they were in the thick of it with me. So it really like I really didn't even know who I was. Not really. Without that story, without that need, that itch I couldn't scratch. But eventually, after years of running, something big, and I mean really big and bad and awful, happened in my life. I hit rock bottom. I lost one of my favorite people in the world to an overdose. I reached a point where I couldn't keep numbing out anymore. I couldn't keep burying everything. And honestly, this didn't even happen as soon as Darcy died. It actually happened a year later after pretending that I was fine, after burying myself in goals and taking care of everyone else who is suffering from this loss. And then my dog died, and I just was so angry and confused and like, why? Why was what all I could say was, why is this happening? Why is this my life? And that is when I started, like truly started the journey of healing, like actually healing, not just working out, not just getting another fitness goal, not doing a bikini competition and being, the person who gets shit done. I actually decided to start the journey of reclaiming my mind and my body and my spirit. And it took me years of unlearning the toxic patterns and rewiring my beliefs and stepping into my truth. And now I am here to help you do the same if you're ready to break free from that cycle of not enough and to step into the life that you were always meant to live. And so, in this first episode, I'm going to introduce you to the Limitless Life Code and show you how you can start transforming your life one step at a time. And so, this podcast, this Limitless Life Code podcast, I'm going to lay out to you what the steps are in the Limitless Life Code that I have developed in my years of experience and learning. I have studied for the last 5 years. I have invested tens of thousands of dollars into my education to be able to master the things I want to talk to you guys about here and the things that have formed this Limitless Life Code. So in this podcast, you can expect to learn of the three categories, these three incremental steps are just umbrellas for content that I can share with you about how to step into your power, how to find inner freedom, and how to get the F out of your head and into your life. So let's start with the first step of the Limitless Life Code, which is to get the F out of your head. So how many of you have ever felt like you were trapped in a cycle of lack, not enoughness, and scarcity? Like, no matter how hard you work, no matter how much you achieve, it's never enough. You're never satisfied. You don't ever have a moment of peace or bliss. Like, you're constantly chasing something, but can never quite catch it. And if you do, you don't hold on to it for long. Maybe you're stuck in a hamster wheel of fear and scarcity and not enoughness. Well, I've been there, and I can tell you for free that it is exhausting. But the truth is, lack is an illusion. It's a story that your mind tells you, a story that is deeply ingrained in our culture and society. So it's not your fault that you see through a lens of lack and scarcity, because we've been taught that in order to survive, we need more, 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 because there's not enough for everyone. There's not enough, and it's a dog-eat-dog world. That's what they teach us. We're taught that we need more money and more achievements and more success in order to feel our worth, in order to feel complete. But this mindset keeps us trapped in the belief that we are somehow incomplete. And that belief then creates a cycle of anxiety and numbing out and addiction. And addiction is not always like addiction to a substance. It could be addiction to getting goals, addiction to the grind, addiction to always being busy, addiction to a certain pattern of thinking, a certain way of thinking, a certain negative thought spiral that consistently fuels your motivation to go out and be better. You might think that you need those things. And as soon as you start to rely on it in order to feel good or feel some sort of way, then it is an addiction. And it is now a vice that makes your peace, your joy, your love not unconditional, but completely conditional. But here's the good news. You can break free from that cycle, and it starts by understanding how to beat the mind. Your mind is constantly churning out thoughts that tell us that you're not enough and that you need more and that you're behind. You're just not quite there yet. But those thoughts, they are not you. They are not your truth. So in this first step of the Limitless Life Code, we're going to teach you, and by we, I mean me, I'm going to teach you how to reclaim your power from your mind. I'm going to guide you into noticing the patterns of lack and scarcity that show up in your thoughts and in your assumptions so that you can stop being ruled by them. It's about learning how to quiet the noise in your mind and take control of the narrative. And when you do that, you begin to experience true inner freedom. You can let go of the need to hustle, to prove, to do more, and just be. Imagine being able to just be. Imagine feeling like you know that you're complete, you're whole, and you've made it. Imagine the weight that melts off of your shoulders. That's what you can learn. You can learn this. You can learn how to do this. And once you've started to quiet the mind and let go of the not enoughness story, it's time then to step into the second part of the Limitless Life Code, which is to step into your co-creatorship with the universe. So if you've been here for a while, and I mean not here in the podcast because this is the first episode, but in and around my content, in and around me, you know that co-creatorship with the universe is my forte. And what I mean by this is to be completely in the knowing, in the knowledge, in the understanding of your power. So much so that you know that there is nothing outside of you that decides your experience of reality. This step is about understanding that you are not alone in your journey. You're not separate from the universe. You are actually the universe, and you can co-create with the universe. Your life right now is a reflection of the state of being that you have been embodying. So if you believe that you are small or unworthy or stuck in struggle, your life is going to mirror that back to you. But if you step into the truth of who you are, your light self, your highest self, and begin to embody that, to begin to have the assumptions that they would have, and to have the beliefs that they would have, and to have the confidence that your highest version of you, your lightest version of you would have, your life will then begin to shift to meet you at that vibration. And this isn't some mystical concept. It is actually grounded in the truth that our thoughts, emotions, and energy create the reality that we experience, literally are creating the reality that we experience. So when you raise your consciousness, when you raise your awareness of your own light and power, the world around you shifts to match it. You start to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You begin to attract people and situations and experiences that match the energy that you are putting out. So in this step, I'm going to teach you how to consciously raise your vibration, how to connect with your highest self, and how to align with the universe in a way that feels effortless and absolutely empowering. And when you start embodying your true power and light, that is when the magic happens. And then the final step of the Limitless Life Code is to pay it forward. This is where your transformation becomes complete, not just for you, but for the world. So when you step into your full power, when you heal the wounds of not enoughness, the beliefs that you're not enough or that you could be lacking, when you transcend the belief in lack and embrace your light, you are meant to share that with the world. You are meant to share that with the world. Your unique story of overcoming darkness and reclaiming your true self is how you are meant to influence others. And now, does that mean that you have to go and start a coaching business or a YouTube channel or anything like that? No. I mean, you can, yes. But it's about who you're being in your life. You can influence people. You can pay it forward just by being the things that we have talked about here. and embodying that and carrying that into your reactions and your actions and your behaviors and your decisions and the moves that you make. This is not just about being a better version of yourself for yourself. It's about using your transformation to raise the vibration of the entire planet. When you live your life in your full power and your full light, it ripples out to everyone around you. As a parent, a spouse, a friend, and a leader, you influence the world just by being true to yourself, just by being who you're meant to be. The highest service that you can offer the world, the highest service you can offer the creator, the highest service you can offer your kids is to be exactly who you were meant to be, in full alignment with your truth, in your completeness, in your wholeness, and your knowledge of that, your understanding of that. So when you step into your power, you're not just living for yourself, you're living for the good of every single friggin' person on the planet. And that's a big deal. So that is a quick-ish overview of the Limitless Life Code. It is definitely a journey, but it's a journey of healing and empowerment and service. The first step is to get out of your head and break free from that cycle of lack and scarcity. The second step is to step into your power and co-create with the universe, to manifest your limitless life. And the third step is to use your transformation to raise the vibration of the world. Now, I know this all sounds like a big shift, and it is, like massive. But I'm here to guide you every single step of the way. I have walked this path myself, and honestly, I've been thinking about doing a podcast like this, a YouTube channel, whatever you want to call this, for eons. But I knew that I needed to be ready and ready to guide you, ready to move myself towards that light, so much so that I am ready to share with you the steps on how I did it. And so I've walked this path myself, and I absolutely know with absolute evidence, because I was the hot mess express for most of my freaking life. I know that it's possible for you too. Like, I know because I've lived it. So if you are ready to start your journey to a limitless life of inner freedom, unconditional love, and boundless abundance, stay tuned for more episodes, because I'm going to dive deeper into each of these steps and how to integrate them into your daily life. Thank you for listening to the first episode of the Limitless Life podcast. And remember that you are already enough. You always have been, always. And you are just beginning to tap into that true power. So until next time, keep moving forward, and remember that you already are the light that you have been looking for.